If you follow me at all, you know I am totally die cut crazy and love designing cards using many of the creative die sets available from so many awesome companies. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hashik. In this video I am sharing some Wishing You quilt and cheddar cards I made with some unique dies I recently purchased. I recently saw a card on internet land that featured the Divinity Designs, formerly Our Daily Bread, Quilted Triangles die, and I knew I had to order it. And while I was there shopping a bit more, because of course addicts like me can't buy just one die set when shopping, right? I found this beautiful Wishing You stamp and die combo. So the die is wishing and then there's all the words there, and I have been looking so long and hard for wishing you well. I just love that expression, better than get well soon. So I have used this die set in all the cards that I am showing you today. The quilt die is so easy to use. I had purchased a quilt die in the past, and it was so hard to figure out where all the pieces were supposed to go. But this one is very, very easy. Each one of these triangles is equal in size, and it doesn't matter where it goes if you're not using a pattern paper that you care about exactly where they go. And each one of these is, and these, and then the sides are equal as well. So what you can do is what I've done in this, you actually could cut it 3 times. I did it in the bright pink, the green, and the pattern paper, and in the end I did another white one as well for the border here. But you can make 3 or 4 cards out of all the pieces by just mixing and matching them. So this is wishing you the happiest of birthdays. And of course butterflies fit in almost every card, and I put the little extra triangles there in the corner for that card. And here's another card. I've used that wishing sentiment on all the cards that I made. And this is another square one that I just used the pieces that I used in this one and mixed and matched them for that card, wishing you happiness. If you're using a pattern paper, in this case I'm using Altenew wide washi tape, and then you need to keep the pieces in order where they go back in, because you want the pattern to continue from one to another. That wasn't real hard to do, but and is a very pretty look. And then on the inside I said wishing you well, and all the details on these other cards will be on my blog, and there'll be links to them in my description. This is the card that I'm making in the video. In addition to the 2 Divinity Designs dies and stamps I showed you, I'm using pattern paper from the Park Lane line at Joann's, peach cardstock in a couple different shades from My Favorite Things, some dark linen cardstock from the Paper Cut, a butterfly punch, and My Favorite Gems from Gina Marine Designs. So on the inside I have you wishing you the best, and use some more of that pattern paper and another punched butterfly in the inside. So it's really easy again to use this quilt die. I have glued on the outside base of the quilt die. I tried using sticky two-sided paper on the back of this, thinking that would make it easier, but to pull this piece off and keep those other pieces in, it would just ended up being more difficult. So what I ended up doing is just gluing this piece on, and then of course the wishing is glued on, and the gems are there, and I've already completed the inside of the card. And so I have these pieces left from what I made this one with. So as you can see, before I had pattern paper in the corners, now I'm going to have the darker peach, and so on. So all of these pieces have been used, but all these pieces are left. So that makes this so easy to make several cards with this gorgeous die. And it doesn't matter which corner I put this in, it fits in all of them. So again, I just think it's so much easier to use this And I love any die that has the extra stitches in there. I think that, number one, it does look more like a quilt, and it also adds lovely interest to each piece. So there are the four corners, and I'm going to do the center square in that dark peach cardstock as well. And that's already pretty just the way it is. Now I'm going to add my larger pattern paper triangles. And if you're using a pattern paper that is pretty much the same all over, again, it doesn't matter which one you put this in. And then we just have the green ones, the dark green linen. It's like a puzzle, but it's like a very easy puzzle. And then I chose, looks like I'm missing one, right? No. Anyway, I chose to leave these extra ones in the light peach, and you have a very pretty pattern easily achieved with that quilt die. This is the next card that I'm going to show you how to make. I've combined the wishing die and stamp combo from Divinity Designs with a new die from My Favorite Things called the Shutter Card Components. I'm also using the Altenew wide washi tape floral flurries to make this card. I am loving the Altenew wider washi tape, and I think it just makes such a gorgeous pattern paper. And what I have found is if you put it over white cardstock, you get a very pretty look, but you can use other colors, and in this case I did a gold, and in this case I used a pink under there. So the look is very different with whatever color cardstock you put underneath it, and I decided I liked the pink the best. This has a belly band and a pearl that's come off, but we'll put it back on. And then I used that Altenew paper and created these pieces here. And then when you open it, it is a shutter. So it says, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. I have tried to make shutter cards in the past from watching videos and doing it by hand, and to be honest, I never had any luck. So when I saw this die was available, I grabbed it, and it is so easy to make a shutter card, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So these are the pieces in the shutter card components die. I have cut a deep red card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and I used the score buddy and a Teflon bone folder, and I scored it at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. So if you look at a score buddy, and I think it's probably on other ones as well, this one has little dots at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8, and that is exactly where you want to score for a A2 gatefold card. So I've done that. I've also cut the belly band, and it was 11 by 1.5, and I scored it at 3 1/4 on both sides. I taped the back down. I glued on the wishing. Those pearls don't want to stay, do they? I have to make sure and did another butterfly out of a piece that was die cut out of another one. So that's prepared in advance. I also have prepared in advance, you don't need to watch me on apply, but I did 2 5 1/4 by 1 3/4 and just a little bit more than 1 3/4 pink pieces. So these are pink cardstock. And I covered them with the Altenew Floral Flurries, and they are ready to be attached. I also cut a piece that is 3 by 6, and I scored it at 1/4 on both sides. Now, when I was adding the washi tape, if I put washi tape on this as well, that tape did not want to stick. So I simply cut it off here and left those on with no washi tape on the edge. I have stamped in advance the U of happiest birthdays and have that ready. So I have die cut 2 of the pennant pieces out of that die set, and this circle was just die cut in the very center of this piece using the other die in that set. So I have marked on the inside of the card, and you don't have to, but you can kind of eyeball it if you want, but I kind of wanted, I'm going to be showing this card as a shoebox at my club, and I wanted to know specifically where do I suggest to put this. So I've marked on the inside 1 inch down. So I knew where to put the pennant pieces. Now this is good strong Tonic Redliner tape. You could use a good strong glue, or but I'm suggesting that you use something very strong because it's going to be open and closed a lot of times. And you just lay this piece flat and you close the front piece on it. So there's part of your pennant, and then remove the top of that tape. And in this case, you're going to line those 2 pennant pieces up straight, and then again right along the fold there, and then push down. And your pieces are already attached perfectly where they're supposed to be. See how easy that was? Now we're going to attach this white piece centered. I'm not going to push it down yet because I want to make sure it's in the right place. So if I close this up and then I start to open it, looks like it's centered pretty good. Maybe a little more. Hold on. Yep, it looks good. I'm going to push that down then. Now, this piece here is what holds them down, and so that they open. So we're going to take, again, good strong Redliner tape is suggested, or a good strong glue, and center this in the bottom down here. And push it down hard. And then make sure your shutter pieces has to have one on top and one on bottom. And then line that up with the top. Kind of close this down and push that down. So that holds the shutter pieces in place, and when you open it, you can read what that says and see that gorgeous floral paper too. Then, like I said, I've taken 2 pieces of that Altenew pretty washi tape and put it on 2 pieces of pink. These were 5 1/4 high by, I'm sorry, I lost that now, 1 3/4 plus just a little bit, so that it is pretty even on all sides. And I've put some good strong tape on these as well. Although I think my red liner tape is stronger than this other score tape, but I like this too. And I didn't think it was necessary to use the really, really strong stuff. Alright, so I'm going to try to make that even on here. I think this paper is so pretty. And on one of those washi tape rolls you get a lot. So I'm happy to share this with my club. And our card is complete. It has the wishing die here and the butterfly. And then when you slide the belly band off, the inside opens for you to say, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. And that stamp set has many different options for what you're wishing. So I like that a lot. I'm loving how all these cards turned out and hope they inspire you to try some of the dies I shared. Thanks for watching, sharing, and subscribing, and thanks too for helping me share the joy of creativity.